Starting. Hi, everybody. This is Miss Melinda. Welcome to Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. You guys miss me? I know I've been gone for a few days. I wasn't really feeling up to teaching class. Um, I think I needed some rest and a timeout. And I just let spontaneity take its course. I just let nature take its course. When I went to bed at night, I just YouTubed a movie and relaxed and had nothing on my mind. I wasn't like saying, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do, a lesson, class, and, what subject should I do? I didn't do that. I was just tuned out and turned everything off. And so I'd go to sleep at night to the YouTube movies. And in the morning, I knew I was not in the mood to do research. And then after that, have to shower, put on makeup, dress up, and do. I just wasn't up. I needed like to flip my switch off, and just be in total peace and quiet and not overthinking. And then all of a sudden, this morning I woke up and I was feeling really good because I had started to abuse coffee again, and then I was taking a little too much ibuprofen. So between the coffee and a little extra ibuprofen, it started taking a toll on the lining of my stomach and my vital organs, and I started feeling sick. And that's probably, why, I took off and I got off, the coffee, but I won't drink it like I was, that's for darn sure. And I stopped taking, the painkillers, and I won't be taking any extra painkillers either. So, finally this morning, I just started to write, it was spontaneity. It was complete spontaneity. I went and got my breakfast, and stuff like that. And then I just grabbed my Greek book that I used to write all my notes on, and I just started writing. Well, I did already have in my mind maybe yesterday, and I don't know about the day before, but like real recent, I decided I'm going to go back to Voir. I taught 2 classes of Voir. What was it? The 5 worst mistakes you could make in a Voir. I did 2 classes for that. And that was really good and educational. And I want y'all to watch those 2. I'm in a pink costume. It's a pink sweater with a pink shiny gloss sleeveless ski vest. Yeah. So you don't mix it up. I have another one later with a pink top, just a low cut pink top. Oh yeah, the one everybody loves. Okay. Anyway, I'm feeling really good tonight. I always play loud music in my TV headphones. It makes me concentrate because it generates, your axons and dendrites in your brain, and your endorphins get going. So I blast the music. I allowed myself some coffee, but I only would do a teaspoon at a time, and I would only do a cup, once in an hour or something, no double shots or triple shot, Yeah, that was like crazy. And I just got into my head, okay, I want to go back to Voir. And so I started with my laptop. I looked something up, I decided I was going to watch a video for Voir. But it turned out he was treating me like I was the defendant. So I'm like, I'm not going to watch. I took a couple of notes. I thought, well, maybe that'd be helpful for the other side of the team, So I just took quick little few notes. But I'm the lawyer, so, I left that. And then I said, I can't write quick enough to the videos, and all that crap, and you have to keep stopping it. And, no, I'm going to just look up, text. So I actually had the other thing I had in mind was deposition came to mind. Because I was talking not long ago to you guys about, being a court reporter, and if I worked in a specific law firm, not just the courtroom, I would have to do depositions also. So I decided what we're going to do is we're going to start a brand new law class. But that judicial system, I don't know, there's like 5, maybe 6 or 7 at the most. Judicial system, I don't know how many, but there's a lot of that judicial system. Well, I just clicked into one, and I struck oil. I just clicked into my red satin bustier, and that was the exact class out of all the classes I taught for the judicial system. That one was the one I was actually describing, what you do, all the preliminary steps you do before a trial. And so I listened to that whole red satin bustier. So the first thing I want you guys to do is go to my red bustier. It's the judicial system. I forget which category. But anyway, watch that and watch it a few times so it sticks in your head. And then I did some notes on. I did some good research on depositions, and how to have a successful deposition as a lawyer. So what I'm telling you is I decided I'm going to start a brand new law class, which was not at all on my mind, since the last time I taught. I didn't know. I never thought about what I was going to do next class. Never did until just like yesterday. I thought of going back. I want to teach them more about the voir dire. So voir dire, actually, okay. So you already got 2 voir dire classes. Go look for those 2 pink costumes with the vest on. Oh, and it'll say the 5 worst mistakes for voir dire. Watch those. First watch my red bustier, the judicial system. Watch that and listen closely. If you could take notes, that'd be great. And watch it. If you could watch it like 5 times, it'd be great. So if this class, so what's going on is this all just kind of came together. I said, you know what? I'm going to start a new law class. But this is going to be like the major study of all my classes. Like, you're not going to get probably any other major ones, like neurology or neuroterminology or solar system or test or the, exoplanets or the universe or the solar system. You're not going to get any of that major other classes. I've decided to turn this into a big, long law class. And so you need to jump aboard now, because I know you think you can watch when you want, stuff like that. But if you start out with me, and then watch every video when that I make from today on at your own convenience, then you'll be aboard in the chronological order. Because the biggest thing I'm teaching in this law class is what is the steps to the preliminary, steps they need to take. What is the order of everything you do before a trial? what is the order, the terminology and the order. And then when I saw that red vest, a long time ago I said I'm going to take them through a trial, and then that kind of like just fizzed out and died. But I wasn't where I am today, and I hadn't been studying as much as I have since I started teaching. I never taught this way, see? That's why. So this makes a big difference when I'm live and you can see and hear me, not just read these little tweets, buried in between other tweets, So if you hop aboard now and you stick with me, it'll be a lot more fun. And I'm going to remember to label. So I'll put like law class, and like deposition and voir dire, and I'll put a 1 like in parentheses so you know that this is page 1, because it's all going to be backwards. So when you go to look up this new law class, I haven't really given it a title yet, but we'll get there. Don't worry about that. But we will get a title. In the meantime, I will, of course, put what I'm teaching you right now. It's just 2 subjects, deposition and more voir dire. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm decided to take you, through a whole trial. Well, first of all, there is so much that you can learn about to be the most successful and take over the whole deposition and win with that. And the voir dire, the voir dire I could go on for years, and the deposition I can go on for a long many months, because I can like do research on other people's depositions. See, they have stuff like that. And I'm really, if I ever actually had made it all the way to a lawyer, which I never would have went that far, that's really heavy. I mean, I made it to paralegal. It's damn near somewhat close. And a court reporter. And that court reporting is a really big deal for my presence in a courtroom and, my education with how to be a good lawyer. The court reporting really trained me also, and then I know shorthand, so anyway, it's going to be one big law class, and like I said, so the voir dire, I might be doing a little studying for the rest of my life and teaching, but you're not going to get sick of it. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be like that. But anyway, we will casually stroll along with continuous education. The deposition will go for a while, and then I might not need to talk much about that, or it might pop up for some reason. But the voir dire, there's so much I'm going to keep working on for you in this new law class. So it's going to be basically one big law class. It'll work out. Let's just let nature take its course. Let this be spontaneous. It already was spontaneous when this all just rolled out of my brain this morning. I knew I had in my mind, like yesterday, I want to go back to voir dire. But I did not know I was going to do anything more at this point than just a couple of really good, strong classes again on voir dire, because there's so much to it. And that's all I had in my head, and that was only like the past day or two, And then this morning I woke up, and spontaneously it became a full-blown new law class that I decided I was going to start. It's not just going to be voir dire and the deposition. We're going to keep going on and on. But, we just do so much at a time. And like next class, I don't think I'll be ready to go to another subject I think I should probably stick with voir dire a little longer and actually do a lot more of the voir dire. We're going to do the deposition right now and then the voir dire, and then that'll be the end of the class. But I don't know. I have to see. I might need right now to maybe do one more class of deposition or something, or two, probably not much more. And then you probably might not get it like a deposition class, but deposition might come up, spontaneously in something else I'm teaching, in this famous law class we're starting right now. So let's get started. This is Miss Melinda, and this is Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Welcome, everybody. Are you ready to have fun? Okay, let's start. So, I have to show my sleeves. My sleeves. You can't see my sleeves. But you got it. Yeah, now you can see my sleeves. Okay. So here we go. Legal terminology. Deposition. Well, that's what it's called right there. But I don't know how it's going to go later with titles, Okay. Deposition. A deposition is the taking of an oral statement of a witness before trial under oath. Okay. Depositions may be taken it's supposed to be by lay. Lay, L-A-Y, non-professional. Okay. So let me start that sentence over again. Depositions may be taken by a lay or expert witnesses. They are a part of discovery. Now, that's a big lesson, okay? So that means, bingo, spontaneity. Melinda will have to be doing some discovery class coming up pretty soon here. Yeah. We can do a little at the same time as the voir dire, We'll see, because I have to research the order. Like, I don't want to teach the discovery at the same time with the voir dire. If there's steps in between those, it'll kind of make it confusing. So I will learn, like, which step, I will research and get, like, blow by blow, what's the next step before you actually hit the courtroom. And I will teach you that way, see? Like that red satin bustier I'm wearing, it says the judicial system. I just picked that one because I said I'm going to watch all my judicial system since I decided I'm going to teach this whole class and teach you how, well, I've never been a lawyer and I'm not even educated to be a lawyer. But I feel like I was born a lawyer, and I do have the education as a paralegal, so it's a good concrete foundation. And then I'm studying from the best credits. I'm researching I've been researching. I started by I started late, maybe about 12:30, 1 o'clock, right after lunch. And I've been working. I was working up until like 10-ish, I think, or maybe a little later. Okay, so anyway, we'll take it step by step. Yeah, okay. So now I feel like I need to start over. A deposition is the taking of an oral statement of a witness before trial under oath. Depositions may be taken by lay or expert witnesses. They are a part of discovery, so that's going to be coming up soon. I'll get that going, and that could take a while, teaching a few classes too, because that's real important to start a little trial like that, yeah. And a formal opportunity to gather info under oath before a civil trial, okay? All right. I don't know why they didn't say and criminal, so I don't know. That should come out later, because here it's got criminal. Okay, so here's the next page. What is a deposition? So I looked up new titles for deposition, just kept going and going. So here's the next. What is, oh, I want to show my arms, my arms. I got a special little dainty jacket with this bustier. I've never had a little bustier, little light jacket that I've never had a bustier with long sleeves. It's not attached to it, but it's on it. So anyway, okay, what is a deposition? A deposition is an opportunity for parties in civil and criminal lawsuits. Okay? Civil and criminal lawsuits, of course. Depositions for every trial. To get a witness's testimony under oath before trial. They put before trial. Depositions are used to gather info during the discovery process, okay? So let's read that again. Depositions are used to gather info during, quote, the discovery process, unquote. A witness being deposed is called a deponent. Never heard that before. If you're a quote, plaintiff being deposed, unquote, a defendant, or even just a witness in a civil lawsuit, there's a good chance that you win, excuse me, let me repeat this. A defendant, or even just a witness in a civil lawsuit, there's a good chance that you will have to submit to a deposition at some point. A deposition is set up by an attorney for one of the parties to a lawsuit that demands the sworn testimony of the opposing party. Okay? Of the opposing party. Okay. So, so it's got in parentheses, defendant or plaintiff, parentheses. A witness to an see these magic markers, but I have to use them to see. A witness to an, no, it's not expert. I can't read. Put my glasses on. A witness to, I can't read that word. A witness to an event. It's an event. Okay. These fat magic markers, but I have to use them so I can see. So, a witness to an event. Okay. A witness to an event. Or an expert intended to be called at trial by the opposition. If the person requested to testify is a party to the lawsuit, either the plaintiff or the defendant, notice of time and place. The deposition can be given to the opposing side's attorney. If a witness is an independent third party, an expert perhaps, then a subpoena must be served if he or she is reluctant to testify. Okay? Wait, I got my head cut off. I guess I gotta move back. There. I think that's better, huh? Okay. So, I don't know, that stupid light's in the way. That looks better. There we go. I think we got this better. All right, let's start over. Okay, the title is Everything You Need to Know About Depositions. Because the majority of people have not participated in a deposition, it can cause great confusion and stress. Let's take a closer look at the, quote, purpose of a deposition, unquote. A legal deposition has two purposes: to find out what the witness knows. Number two, to document a witness's testimony. In what types of cases are depositions used? A deposition is used both civil and criminal court cases before a trial occurs, but it's more of a common component in civil lawsuits. Okay? A majority of states allow criminal depositions when a judge has concluded that there's a good chance that an important witness will be unable to testify at trial. Only a handful of states allow depositions in criminal cases without the prior approval of a judge. Okay, next title is, how is a deposition recorded? A deposition is recorded word for word by, who do you think? A court reporter like Melinda. Okay, a deposition is recorded by word for word, see, verbatim, by a court reporter. Melinda was at 180 words back then. The reporter is present throughout the session and provides a transcript of the entire testimony. That's how serious my job would have been. Yeah. Okay. The reporter is present throughout the session and provides a transcript of the entire testimony. In most cases, the deponent and the court reporter sign an affidavit to certify the transcript is accurate. A deposition can also be videotaped if a deponent is ill and not well enough for trial, or if the deponent is out of town or unavailable during the trial. Okay, title of a new part here. The importance of a deposition. Just as the scene of a crime can be captured in photographs and evidence from a traffic accident can be gathered at the scene, then preserved by forensic specialists, which I've been studying forensic scientists, CSIs, for the past 30 years. Let's see, those, what is that? Something files. God, it might have been 40 years ago they started it. It's in the, I've been watching trials, well, since the 1960s. But CSI, I started in the 80s. Yeah, they started coming out. They had Forensic Files was one of the first, and Bill, I can't think of his last name. Bill was a big shot. He had his own show for CSI, and I don't know if he talked trials, but it was, murder stories, like not Bill Curtis. What's his last name? I can't think of it. But I watched him, he did forensics. And then they came out with Forensic Files. And I think that goes all the way back to the 80s. And they're still playing them, but I've seen every one 100 times, so I won't watch that. Okay. So I learned a hell of a lot of CSI work. Yes, a hell of a lot. Yeah. Okay. And then And then they came out with newer, where, CSI, has all this updated technology, computers they use, and all this different, and I learned so much on that. I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but it was Miami-Dade, with Ratio. Miami-Dade really was the realistic CSI show. It was very realistic, and you learned a lot. They showed you everything. It's Miami-Dade Police Department is huge, and it's real fancy. Like every wall is a clear type of glass, but everything has like neon pink and neon blue, like my turquoise here, neon greens, because you're on the beach, you're out by the beach. So it's all pink and greens and light blues, neon colors like through the walls, something like that. And it's huge, and they've shown really crazy episodes where, a criminal comes in and goes crazy and stuff like that. But I mean, that is very updated, educated. You just, God, I wish I could think of it all. You know what? On the side, if I have time, I'm going to revisit. I'll bet I could probably get that on YouTube. Or I could just pull up all the new on forensic scientists at the scene of the crime. But I'll tell you one thing. But here's the interesting thing. In spite of all this new, computer forensic science, I mean, you just wouldn't believe. And they even had the coroner was right inside. It is, not was. It's a real police department. They were filming at the real police department. Yes, they were. And the coroner is right in that same building, too. And I don't think that's very common. But Miami's, I guess, a pretty big city. But here's the interesting part. In spite of all this advanced technology that you just couldn't believe, you will always need the old-fashioned beginning part of crime scene investigation. You'll still be starting out, around taking the pictures. They're going to still start every forensic crime scene investigation. They're going to start with the old CSI basics that they were teaching in the 80s and probably back in the 60s, and they probably got more and more advanced from 40s and 50s. It kept getting better. But you got a concrete foundation, a CSI routine that is very old and is still used till this day. So I just thought you would find that interesting. Yeah. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. Let's start from the beginning of this title. The importance of a deposition. Okay, so just as the scene of a crime can be captured in photographs and evidence from a traffic accident can be gathered at the scene, then preserved by forensic specialists, so too is a deposition, the opportunity to capture and preserve the testimony of a witness. Unless someone tampers with physical evidence in a case rarely changes. With a deposition, the witness or other party can change their testimony many times if not properly deposed. This is a crucial step in the discovery process in any case. Okay, so I'm going to have to, when I get a chance, underline this whole, let's read this again. The witness or other party can change their testimony many times if not properly deposed. okay? They can change their testimony many times if not properly deposed, period. So they're saying, here's the punchline. This is a crucial step in the discovery process. So they're saying the discovery process. So we already got our first lesson on discovery that I told you would be coming up, like later this week, But no, maybe not that quick. But you've already been told in this class that we will be doing discovery pretty soon, It's one of the first things you do out of many. We don't know how many, but so it's saying that that the witness, the party can change their testimony many times if not properly deposed. They're saying this is a crucial step in the discovery process in any case. So we as lawyers must not forget when we're doing our discovery, we have to make damn sure we get that testimony down straight, signed, sealed, delivered. I mean, we got to make sure that they, can't change that testimony over and over in the discovery process. Okay, so let's not forget that. Well, you should be watching this class a lot. I have to watch my classes over and learn, because everything I'm teaching you, I don't have memorized, and I wasn't taught everything I'm teaching you, but I have a lot of education between the court reporting, and then I am legally a paralegal, graduate, associate degree as a paralegal. So I do have a very good foundation. And then I just have a mastermind for working a courtroom and a jury. I was just born that way. I knew that as a kid. And even my girlfriend, who ended up becoming a multi-millionaire, she used to call me Perry Mason. When we were like 12 years old, she was already calling me a lawyer. And she wound up to be a multimillionaire from actually working for State Farm Insurance. Started her own office. But she could not win a debate with me. Officially, if we had a debate, I always had a better answer, a better comeback, a better rebuttal, and she just started calling me, okay, Perry Mason. She could never be a lawyer, but she became multimillionaire from State Farm Insurance because she did what we did at Woodhaven Lakes when I became supervisor over 20 telemarketers. See, that's the kind of personality I have. Yeah, we got jobs at Woodhaven Lakes in Elmhurst, Illinois, as telemarketers on the phone. That's how we started, 5 days a week after school. Yep, and so we started at 14 years old. And in 2 years, when I turned 16, Gail promoted me to supervisor over all 20 telemarketers. I did all the hiring, firing. I told her I'm going to rewrite the whole pitch on the phone, and I'm going to do all the training, hiring, firing, and training in the back office. She said, yep, you can have all those responsibilities. I said, fine, then I'll take the job. And I had my own office, my own desk to kick my feet up on at 16 years old. So see, that's my personality. 16 years old, I'm already got 20 telemarketers working for me to get people to buy land. See? That's what I'm telling you. So that's how I am in a courtroom. Get it? Okay. All right. So you're starting to get to know me. All right. So how to conduct voir dire. A practical guide, July 1st, 2024. Okay. The literal translation of the French phrase voir dire is, quote, to speak the truth, unquote. In law, it's the process of questioning an individual prior to jury duty. or witnessing to determine their suitability. If they're suitable, to be a juror on this trial. So you have to determine if they're suitable. And learn, quote, how to select a jury, unquote. Who will listen to your arguments, okay, without a predisposition. So you have to ask all these questions. I'm not going to throw up any hypothetical subject, whatever, I'm not going to make up, well, we'll pretend like hypothetically we're talking about a rape case or something like that. No, I'm not going to throw that out there. Just listen to what I'm saying to you. How to select a jury. Who will listen to your arguments? Okay, so whatever the subject is, I'm not going to pick one for you right now. You have to think of all the questions for this particular case, okay? If this, what's the word they use? They're using potential juror. Yeah, okay, they say potential juror. Okay. So, so you have to listen, they have to listen to your arguments, and the potential juror you have to make sure they don't have any predisposition against your client is a key step, quote unquote, is a key step in winning the trial. So learning how to conduct voir dire questioning is critical for trial attorneys, and that's what I've been telling you. That's why we're going to be I'm not going to, I'll flip around a little bit with the deposition, if there's some good stuff, maybe a little bit, but we're going to stick with voir dire for a while, because there is a hell of a lot for you to learn. Once I really dig, deep, and we do this voir dire study in maybe 3 weeks. What was I going to say? Maybe 3 weeks. Then I'm going to find out right away exactly what the steps are, in the exact order to start the trial, because I don't remember that exact, thing in my head, but I want to stick with voir dire for a good while. Yeah. So, but it'll all be fun, and you'll enjoy it, because this you're going to understand. I'm not talking about phonetics. Do you know how long those words were? It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And that phonetics, in one page, it would have like 3 or 4 or 5 words, that are freaking this long, So this you can follow, understand, and so now we can enjoy Miss Melinda's classes, this law class. We're understanding it right now. I know you're following me. This ain't phonetics, okay? Okay. But we will go back one day, but I'm not going to go into that deep depth, because that phonetics, to the degree I was getting into, I was getting into swampland. Swampland is just getting thicker and thicker and thicker with rhetoric, So we will not be digging that deep with phonetics, because the class is linguistics, and it's got a lot more to it than this phonetics. That's one of the 4 top words, but then you got specific branches, and that's where there's a lot more classes and titles we have to study. So we won't be doing that definitely. Now I'm starting this big, huge law class, so we won't be playing with linguistics till next year, probably. We'll see. Okay, so understanding voir dire. Okay. Voir dire is your hands-on they got, like, I'll say, quote, voir dire is your, quote, hands on the steering wheel, quote, unquote, moment to exert control over who will ultimately pass judgment on your case. Okay? Back to that same thing they're saying. While that control is limited by the potential jury pool, and your ability to question and dismiss them. Voir dire is when you can directly ask for truthful answers from prospective jurors. Voir dire questioning allows attorneys to question potential jurors on matters that may impact how they judge a case. Let me say this over again. So, allows attorneys to, question potential jurors on matters that may impact how they judge a case. Collect significant facts and details about each juror. And they got a glimpse jurors, like a quote here, a glimpse jurors, thought and belief systems, identities and how they reach conclusions, okay? And how they reach conclusions. In addition to weighing in on who should be included or dismissed from the jury pool. Voir dire examination provides critical info that can help you tailor upcoming arguments and demonstratives to a specific jury's makeup, one word, makeup, and characteristics, okay? Here's a new title, Preparing for Voir dire. Okay, Preparing for Voir dire. Well, there's going to be a lot more classes on preparing for voir dire. This ain't just going to be a wrap right here. Although you don't know who will be stepping into the jury box for questioning, that doesn't mean winging it, period. Voir dire examination prep can include, a pre-selection, quote, jury research, unquote, such as surveys, focus groups, and mock trials. Okay. 1. Identifying specific beliefs, experiences, jobs, or other factors to look out for. And then 3. Drafting questions, including dependencies or if/then questioning. Okay, that's all I have on depositions. Well, it took a long time. Well, I was teaching you a lot spontaneously throughout this entire class right here, deposition. And it's only, I see a 4, but there's 5 pages. I don't know. Anyway, it took a long time because I was teaching you spontaneously as we go along, and I will probably mostly be doing that a lot. Okay, so now we're going to do, a real important part that we're going to be working real hard on for a long time, okay? With that paper there, I guess it could be like that. Okay, so now we're going to do developing effective questions. Okay. Oh, here's my label. Okay. Page 5. Okay. Well, anyway, it's voir dire questions. I guess I just kept going that way with, okay. Voir dire questions are used to uncover potential jurors. Relevant biases question may cover colon. 1, whether they think they'd have difficulty ruling for / or against pertinent situations. You got to think of these things, guys. 2, beliefs about right, wrong, and criminal status of pertinent actions. 3, whether they believe that certain circumstances would pardon certain words or actions. And this is like a third thing I'm saying, or a fourth. If they know anyone personally who's been affected by similar accusations or actions, that's a real good one that you would think of. Yeah, that's what I've been telling you all along. Like, you ask the person, have you been raped before? Have you ever been abused before? That's what they're saying here. If they know anyone personally who's been affected by similar accusations or actions, or themselves had this happen. They didn't put that. See how my brain thinks a little deeper? Okay, the next one's any relevant actions they've taken in the past. Parenthesis, I.E. I never knew what that meant. Protective, no, it's protecting. Protecting, comma, preventing, comma, and participating, comma. Okay. Here's another one. We're still going the same thing. We're still doing the same thing. So, whatever this is, 5 or 6, we're still doing the same thing. So, whether they believe certain laws or customs are wrong or should not be enforced, that's a real problem. You don't want a juror like that. Okay. Here's another one. Mores, M-O-R-E-S. I don't know what that means, but they got the word mores, M-O-R-E-S, and behaviors at a family or community level that illuminate the issues above. Okay? Basically, your questions should help you determine if an individual's vote during deliberation can be predicted. Okay? You can predict by all the questioning with these potential jurors. If you're a slick lawyer and you're meant to be a lawyer, you could almost predict by different questions. Well, this person is, so they're saying, let me start from the beginning. So basically, your questions should help you determine if an individual's vote during deliberation can be predicted. See, and if you're really, like me, natural with that, I would be good at knowing he's gonna to rule against your client. You know, I could tell if this person is gonna rule against my client or for my client, and that's what your whole lining of questioning. You know, you prepare before you go as a lawyer. Yeah. So to rule against your client due to bias, comma, individual circumstance or character. And there's actually like 100 more reasons why this person might vote against your client. A lot more than that. And that's why we're going to be on voir dire for a while. I will be doing all the studying and research, you know. And, you know, I get up and I do things, you know, I walk around and stuff like that. But I was, you know, researching for hours and hours, you know, to get to things and stuff like that. Okay, so legal considerations and limitations, okay? Voir dire limits can vary by jurisdiction comma, case type, comma, and possible penalty involved, period. Federal guidelines include, number 1, number of challenges. Number 2, amount of time allotted. Number 3, number of questions permitted. Okay, the nature of questions may also be limited depending on jurisdictional rules, comma, so as to avoid certain content or outcomes such as A, soliciting a commitment to vote a certain way. Okay? 2, sharing of protected info about the case, comma, attorneys, comma, or parties. A, prejudicial information. B, case arguments and certain case facts. Okay, next, conducting voir dire. You'll need to engage an audience, comma, make detailed observations and on-the-spot decisions, and collect info for further use on voir dire days. Getting the jury pool to be candid can be challenging. Instead of a back-and-forth Q&A, try to enter into a conversation, okay? You want to try to enter into a conversation with your potential jurors because that'll make them relax, feel comfortable, not think about why they're there or scared or intimidated. You intervene into a conversation. You have to have a personality like me, where I can just go right into a conversation and not stop like I've been doing for the past hour without being lost for words. You've got to have that personality or you just ain't going to make it. So a conversation that you begin by acknowledging biases, you can, use open-ended rather than yes/no questions, such as how X may affect their decision. A, avoid language and phrasing that makes them, quote, the bad guy. That's what I was just talking about. Don't intimidate or scare them, or make them feel below you in any way. You build them up. You make them feel confident, and you make them relax. You get them to relax and feel comfortable, and don't act real hardcore professional. Back to they were saying having a conversation. Like you're just having coffee with them. And acting like it's just a little meeting or whatever, like you're out for coffee or something. Avoid language and phrasing that makes them, quote, the bad guy, unquote, if they respond openly. 2, phrase circumstances as more or less challenging, difficult or likely. The next one, be gentle. Like I was just telling you, be gentle. Melinda, that's one part I do. I have a little hard time doing is being gentle. Be gentle, but persistent. Okay? Okay, that's a good one. What do we got next? We got, we only got 2 pages left, guys. Okay. The title of this, which is real quick and short, is common challenges, okay, during voir dire. Voir dire challenges fall into 2 categories. They're either, I got my Madonna Black Cross earring I haven't showed you. I forgot. I'm wearing my Black Cross Madonna earring. See it? Isn't that pretty? I forgot I put that on. That's my Madonna Black Cross earring. Okay. common challenges during voir dire. Voir dire challenges fall into two categories. They're either preemptory challenges. Preemptory challenges are at the attorney's discretion, usually based on a potential juror's background and experiences or opinions, beliefs or values. So you have to remember all that. So watch this 5 times and take notes so you can memorize all this like I'm going to do. Okay, and then this next section you're saying federally common attorneys are typically limited to 3 preemptory challenges in civil cases and 3 to 20 in criminal. Well, that's interesting. Take notes. We need to memorize that too. Okay. All right. Preemptory challenges is the second what was the title? So I said that voir dire challenges fall into 2 categories. They're either preemptory challenges or challenges for cause. But I'm still reading preemptory challenges continued. Okay, so we're still on the first one. Preemptory challenges continue. Procedures, depending on whether it's a capital, other felony, or misdemeanor case. They put 1, 2, real small, and up high. I don't know what it means. Anyway, it says lower courts possessive limits vary state to state. It varies. Lower courts limits vary from state to state. Okay? Now here's the second one. Challenges for cause. Challenges for cause are based on reasons including prior acquaintanceships, never heard that before, or knowledge, bias or obvious prejudice, and inability to serve, they're typically unlimited in number. And that's it, guys. So I think this was an excellent class, and I really enjoyed teaching this tonight because I could understand and follow everything I was saying, and I feel like you guys could too. There was no big tons of difficult words that we didn't know the definition. I'm giving you the definition to the 2 main words, deposition and voir dire. And outside of that, the grammar, we pretty much knew, most all the grammar. You knew plenty. I mean, the average one of you out there weren't stuck on enough words that you couldn't follow me or learn what I just taught. But you got to watch me 5 or 6, 7 times. I will be, maybe 10 times. So it sticks in your head, and maybe you want to take notes. And you'll actually have a lot of fun following this law class if you know what the hell's going on by taking notes and watching this one over and over and over. And I will be labeling them. So actually, this will be 1. But what I'll do is when I do the next class for this class, I will label it 2. And so you are going to go, so you're going to have all these videos, and you'll go to the label of this new law class, and you'll go to 1, and you watch that video. And then you go to the left to 2, see? So that's going to be completely backwards. And that, you got to do it that way. And it will be labeled, so it'll be real easy for you to go to where we started the class. This is 1. And then you'll see 2, and you'll know it's to the left, and you can see it's newer, duh. But nobody would be able to do it in the right order unless I label it and put 1 and label it, page 2. And you're going to know it's this law class, because I'm not going to do it. I was going to do dinosaurs on the side, like another video, as something, just to be real simple, because I felt like I was teaching you so hard with that stupid phonetic crap. But we didn't get to dinosaurs, and I'm gonna have to stay pretty focused on this. But who knows? I may do a dinosaur one, but there is a lot more information about dinosaurs than I never imagined in my wildest dreams. So we'll see if we want to have a little break, I was thinking, before I came up with the idea, which spontaneously just came to me this morning, hey, I'm going to do a whole big law class instead of just this, it was going to be, it wasn't even deposition, wasn't even in there either. It was just going to be, the voir dire. And that just came to my head like the last couple of days. I said, I think I'll go back to voir dire. And that was all that, sprinkled through my brain, and that was it. And then this morning, spontaneity rose up, and I decided to I'm going to make this one big law class. But so I may throw I can't even think of the word. I want to call them dragons. Dino, dinosaur. There we go. Dino, the Flintstones. See, I don't know if people in England ever got to see the Flintstones, I don't know I've never seen, you know what? It'd be interesting to look YouTube and see if they got the Flintstone episodes on there. That's a fascinating thought. But I don't know if people in England, see, I don't think they got a lot of our TV. I think we got more than they did. I don't know. I've never lived or even been to England. Actually, they probably got a lot of news, I suppose, on us. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, this was a really fun class. I felt like the first time my students and fans could follow me, and I was able to, I did have enough education to elaborate on a lot of what I was reading to you. I was able to elaborate a lot more education into this class spontaneously, because I'm smart. So, Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show, I think, is ready to close. I love all you guys. Oh, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit my like button, if you will, please. I would love for you to subscribe. Then you'll get to see my white teeth. See? Because when people subscribe, I smile. See my beautiful bright, they're permanent roots and permanent teeth, implants. See? Bright white. You subscribe and you get bright white teeth. Okay, please subscribe. And all you others that have subscribed, keep coming back, because it just gets more and more fun. And I loved my costume I bought the other day. I thought this was real different. The arms were something real different that I've never had before. So I thought it was a nice costume. I love all you guys. And I would like you guys, everyone I'm telling, and please, the ones that have been with me for a while, please start with my red. I want you to watch. I'm going to keep telling you this every time. I want you to watch my judicial systems, all the videos. But this one too, 5 to 10 times if you can. On your own, pace, just when you feel like it. And what was I going to say? But when you do the judicial system part, now that I came up with this spontaneous class that just came to my mind this morning, hey, I think I'm just going to turn this into a whole big law class, not just voir dire. That just came, you know, out of my head spontaneously. And this is how it works with me. Yeah. That's why I will never work doing a show with somebody else. Say, oh, I'll be your producer. Fuck you, nobody's going to be my producer, filmmaker, nothing, writer. No, 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 no. I work alone, and that's it. You know, I always said, someday I'm going to write, film, produce, and star in my own show. And I used to say that all the time. And here it is. It happened. This is a real live show because I asked my Microsoft assistant, and she said yes. Cortana is her name. She said, yes, all the countries around the world can see you who are legally allowed to use the internet, which is probably, 90% of our countries nowadays? So I'm being seen around the world, and I hope I'm helping people who can't get any financial aid for college, you know, and this is just education for all ages, you know, all ages. So everybody join me, and you can have fun with me. You can have fun because I come out sometimes with life stories and just interesting things. Okay, I'm going to let y'all go. And the new ones, please subscribe. And I'll smile. See? Cheese. Okay. And here's my black nails. See, aren't they pretty? See? And my beautiful turquoise. I bought this at Seabreeze Fine Jewelers on Seabreeze Avenue in Daytona Beach. Okay, guys. Good night. I'm going to get under my electric blanket, open the window, and drink a hot cocoa. Good night.